Hello everyone, back tuning in today's second video. We've already done the 5-day forecast, so you can find the video chat here on the homepage. Just scroll down the page a little bit and it's above the pollen count. There's also the written version, and you get to that via buttons at the top of the page. It's going to be a changeable 5 days to come. Well, this video is going to take a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days, and then we'll have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre for the next 40 days. And that takes us actually through August. We begin... Can you believe it? We begin September with today's update from the Beijing Climate Centre. We get to the very end of the summer, just about into the start of autumn. That's a bit controversial, of course, because the weather doesn't stick to defined periods like that. It's just easier when it comes to divvying up the numbers at the end of the season. So summer is defined as the 30th of June, the 1st of June through to the 31st of August, and then autumn is defined as the 1st of September through to the 30th of November. But the weather doesn't stick to those strict criteria, of course, and very often we do get hot weather going on well into September. We did last year, for example, very hot weather in the early part of September last year. But nevertheless, statistically, we will be into the very beginning of autumn with this update, so we'll have a look and see what Beijing Climate Centre is predicting in a second. We're going to start off with the next week to 10 days, though, so let's deal with the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles first of all. So the red line here is a 30-year upper air temperature average, and we're in a little bit of humid air mass today, quite warm and showery. We're actually going to be going cooler over the next 24 hours, and then same story that we've been talking about in the videos recently. We're going to be staying cool really through to the start of August. That's this period just here. Temperatures generally staying around or even a little bit underneath the average as we're moving out into August. There could be a little bit of a warmer interlude just there, and then later on a few warmer outlier members are appearing. Not all that well supported, and certainly not going into a particularly hot level, but slightly warmer outlier members are beginning to appear right at the end of the ensemble. But overall, you have to say, if we clear all that away, you have to say that the overall trend for the next week to 10 days certainly is probably average to a bit cooler than average, and unsettled as well. Plenty of precipitation spikes coming up over the next week or so, perhaps slightly drier there into the second week of August, but I think we're really scraping the barrel to try and find some drier and warmer weather. Overall, I think it is an unsettled, pretty cool scene as we're heading off into the final month of the summer. Don't often show you these. Again, these are GFS. This is GFS ensemble output. So we've got the 2M temperature, which is the surface temperature, and just zoom in a little bit more for this one. So if we have a look at this, we can see that so this is where surface temperatures are right now. This is for Manchester. We can see that surface temperatures right now are fairly warm and humid, but after that we're actually going to be quite cool. This is 20 degrees just here, so anything under 20 degrees in the middle of summer can be generally quite coolish. You can see that overall we're staying at or under 20 degrees generally as we're moving into the start of August. That's this period just here. After that, it does begin to start to warm up a little bit. We begin to get more and more members going above the 20 degree mark, and right at the very end actually there's a few members that are going up towards 25 degrees. Remember, that's for Manchester, so if it's 25 degrees at Manchester, it'd probably be 30 degrees down in London. So it looks as though the second week of August might see something a bit warmer beginning to occur. Certainly quite an extended period of coolish weather, though, certainly for the next week to 10 days. But after that, we might begin to see something a bit warmer emerge for the second week of August, perhaps. This is indicating pressure. Again, GFS ensemble output indicating pressure. I don't often use these, but they can be quite useful to seeing the long-term trend. So at the moment, pressure in Manchester is looking quite weak, around 1,000 millibars, which is fairly low pressure for the time of the year, and generally staying pretty low with the pressure up towards the start of August. Anyway, this is 1st of August just here, when we begin to perhaps see signs that pressure's trying to recover a little bit, heading up towards 1,010. millibars. Still generally weaker, but after that, actually, yes, again, we might be starting to see a trend to begin to lift the pressure up a little bit in Manchester through this second week of August. So the trends might be there to bring something a little bit warmer and drier and high pressure dominated through into the second week of August, but bear in mind that's at the very extended range of the GFS output, so it is in the unreliable time frame, but there are a few members there that are going up to around 1,030 millibars by the second week of August, so maybe something indicating summer returning right into the second week of August. But between now and then, it's pretty cool and pretty unsettled. And that's backed up by the temperature anomalies for the next week. This taking us from today, Wednesday the 26th of July, through to Thursday the 3rd of August. And it's a little bit on the cooler than average side. But notice many parts of Europe actually are going to be quite warm, if not hot, in the coming weekend. It's just right on this far northwestern tip of Europe, the UK and Ireland perched out on the edge there, coming out a little bit cooler than average in the week ahead. And unsettled as well, so precipitation anomalies from the 26th of July to 3rd of August, they're coming out a little bit wetter than average. Cool and unsettled for the end of July and the start of August. We'd better zoom back out again, and that looks a bit better. So we go through to the GFS chart for Sunday, and low pressure is across the country. It's all dealt with in the 5-day forecast, but it is going to be a showery weekend, particularly so for the north and for the west as well. That continues into the start of next week with low pressure close to the country. It's a little bit slack as you're heading into the middle part of the country, but notice this next area of low pressure is here in the Atlantic, and as we get through into Wednesday and Thursday, that low pressure starts to push in, bringing a renewed bout of unsettled weather with it. So we end next week where we started, really, with low pressure over the top of the country, or slightly to the north of the country, feeding in cool air with showers along with spells of rain. As we get to day 10, which is Saturday the 5th of August, it's still looking unsettled, although trying to build a little bit of a ridge here around the Azores. That's trying to bring something drier back from the southwest, but really it's still these areas of low pressure in the Atlantic that are dominated. We run out a little bit beyond day 10, but we tried to get a bit of a ridge going there on Sunday the 6th of August, but that is very quickly got rid of. So next low pressure comes in off the Atlantic on Monday the 7th. So this particular run of the GFS model is still looking pretty cool and pretty unsettled too. ECMWF is looking like this. So Sunday, it's low pressure out to northwest of Scotland. Can be generally quite cool and quite showery too. Into Monday, low pressure remains in control. And then up to middle part of next week, it's all getting rather slack, but essentially it still is low pressure dominated, particularly to the north. Might be a bit drier and warmer to the south, but that still looks a bit unsettled really through to the middle of next week. And then back comes the next area of low pressure towards the latter stages of next week. The next low is rolling in from off the Atlantic, bringing further showers or longer spells of rain perhaps as well. Upper air temperatures are quite warmish in the south with that area of low pressure, but it's fairly cool up in the north. And the overall idea for the next week, 10 days, as I say, does look unsettled and overall a little bit on the cool side, with maybe something suggesting summer might come back for the second week of August. Let's pick up the Beijing Climate Centre and see what the extended forecast is from the Beijing Climate Centre. By the way, the CFS month charts still haven't updated. I was hoping to use them yesterday, wasn't able to because I haven't updated the CFS website since 22nd of July. I've had a look today to see if they've updated. Still haven't updated. I'm hoping they'll be updated by Friday when we do JMA Friday, because we always include the CFS with that, but if not, it will just be the JMA lookout. We'll just have the Japanese on Friday. We won't have CFS. Not sure what's going on at the CFS website. Anyway, back to the Beijing Climate Centre, and these are the 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period taking us from the 26th through of July through to the 4th of August. Looks unsettled as going to start of August, below average heights over and to the north of the UK. Bit of a ridge out southwest, but not able to do a great deal for us, bringing the jet stream through like that. So that's a good representation, really, of what we're just looking at it is going to be a relatively cool and unsettled end to July, start to August. But this is quite a big change. We go through to the 5th, through to the 14th of August. And we're getting above average heights building here around the UK and extending to the east as well. So that's quite a dramatic change from the first 10-day periods, days 1 to 10, through to days 11 to 20, the 5th to the 14th of August. That's high pressure coming back. It would no doubt be turning significantly warmer and drier with that. Summer returns then as we get through into the second week of August, backing up that idea that is perhaps fair, but only weakly, within the GFS ensembles for summer to come back in the second week of August. We go through to the next 10-day period, which is the 15th through to 24th of August. Above average heights are still dominating really, but we have got this area of below average heights down to the southwest. That could be threatening something thundery from the south. Actually, that might be a thundery breakdown going on there into the second half of August. It will probably still be on the warm side as well. And then the final 10-day period, which takes us from the 25th of August through to the 3rd of September, so just into the very start of September, long way off, days 31 to 40, we find that the ridge is pulling out into a bit of the Atlantic. Have got a suggestion of below average heights around the UK as well. So that's a lot more unsettled there and cooler as we're ending August and beginning September. Interestingly, because as I say, September tends to, especially the early part of the month, tends to be a continuation of summer, actually. But that does look, as anyway, for the first opening days of September, like it could be a little bit more cooler and a little bit more unsettled. So we begin and end on a coolish and unsettled note. In between, actually, summer comes back. All very experimental, of course, and these long-range models are never to be relied upon. It's just a snapshot of what Beige Climate is showing today. Might look very different when we use it next week again. So, essentially, it's still the idea, but we've had it in play for quite a while now. The closing days of July and the opening days of August are likely to be unsettled and on the cool side as well. We might get something drier and warmer summer returning in the second week of August, when running into the middle part of the month. And then the second half of August, I think that really is open for grabs. Might be some sort of thundery breakdown and then back to unsettled weather. But I think that is too far away to be any more than speculation. Right, that's it for today's second video. This evening, we'll have that final update for Camp Bestival and also Kettle Cooling. So if you're interested in those events that are coming up in the next few days, then come back for that this evening. Don't forget to check out 5-day forecast as well. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.